The Virginia State Police has obtained 10 warrants for missing high school football coach Travis L. Turner, 46, of Appalachia. Turner is wanted on 5 counts of child pornography and 5 counts of using a computer to solicit a minor. The investigation is ongoing and additional charges are pending.
Police told our NBC News affiliate in Bristol, Virginia, that Travis Turner hasn't been seen since last Thursday, when officers went to his house as part of an investigation. According to police, they were not there to arrest him. George Solis is following this one for us. And George, that's about all we know, because at the same time, the school district he works at says somebody on their staff has been put on leave, not really connecting the dots. Help us understand this.
Today, I'm reporting on a high school coach who vanished, pretty much went into the wilderness. And they were reporting him missing at first, but then later on, they had some charges for him. Still ain't caught him. Stay tuned. Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. The reason why this is called Fugitive TV is because I was once a fugitive on the run myself. I did time, did a lot of other things, and now I'm here talking to you guys, trying to help the next person out. Well, today we have another fugitive that's on the run currently right now that we're going to talk about, and his name is Travis Turner.
It is now the 6th day of searching for a Virginia high school head football coach who's gone missing in Appalachia. This in the middle of an undefeated season. State police say Travis Turner was last seen on Thursday. The same day, officers were dispatched to his residence to investigate a complaint, but he was no longer there. They're stressing they were not aiming to arrest Turner, but didn't provide any additional details.
Travis Turner, if you haven't heard about this, he was a high school football coach, okay, out of Virginia. And he wasn't just a normal high school football coach. I mean, he was very successful. I believe their team is undefeated right now and could be going for the state championship. Yes, you heard that right. Could be going for the state championship, and he still could be coaching his team. But here is the kicker.
Joined now by Coach Turner from Union. And Coach, you guys have become Friday night rivals, veterans. What is it like for your program to get the chance to play on television?
It's a great experience for our kids, our school, our community. Big Stone Gap, man, does a great job supporting our school and our football program, and it's a chance for our kids to be able to play on TV and experience that exposure.
The man is vanished. He's missing. So when the media first reported him missing, they just said, missing high school coach. But then a few days later, now they're saying he's a fugitive on the run and he's wanted for some SCX charges against minors. What's up with all these people nowadays and these people that are working in schools with all these charges going on against people who are underage? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But there seems to be a lot of them going on. I don't know if it's because of social media or what. Well, anyway, this guy is on the run. And I believe this guy got tipped off. And I'm going to tell you how I think I know how he got tipped off. Well, let me tell you the timeline of events right now, right? So pretty much what happened was Thursday, November 20th. Turner was last seen on November 20th, according to state police. Reportedly, they sent agents to Turner's home in the Appalachia part of an investigation, not to arrest him. So he lives in by the Appalachian Mountains or in the Appalachian Mountains of Virginia. And I'm going to show you that on the map too, exactly where he's at. So you can get kind of an idea of how a wilderness and mountains this place is. Well, officers were going to his house originally to question him, they say, right? Well, but when they showed up, he wasn't there for the questions. Well, while agents were on their way to Turner's home, they learned he was reportedly no longer there. So as they were on the way to the house, some sort of way, they found out he was no longer there. So somebody tipped them off to something. Turner was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt, sweatpants, and glasses. Now, on Saturday, November 22nd, authorities continued to search for Turner. VSP confirmed Turner is the head football coach at Union High School State Police. Now, on November 22nd, people said they were out using drones, canine. They were actually out full force and a manhunt for this guy looking through the mountains and the forest and trees and wherever they got back there. And it's all pretty much behind his house. And it's a big area. News Channel 11 saw search operation on Saturday, which included groups of law enforcement and they had canines, bloodhounds. Wise County Public Schools Superintendent Mike Goforth also confirmed that Union's football coach responsibilities have been transferred for that day's game. So that was a day of their game, and the police force is out there searching for that school's head coach. Well, on that same day, they also transferred all his responsibilities over to another person. Sunday, November 23rd. Now, this is when they learned of the charges pretty much that was against him. I should say the media. News Channel 11 learned that Turner had been officially listed in the VSP database for missing persons. Then, I'm sorry, no, this is not when they did it yet. Watch, check this out. So they reported him. The media got a hold of this on the 22nd. Okay. There was dogs searching for him, and they're saying his high school coach is missing. I kind of remember seeing this, and I thought it was just a missing person, which I was eventually going to start reporting on. Sometimes I'll see things in the news, but I don't report like right away. I don't want to be like the fastest person. Sometimes I want to be the most accurate person. All right.
Yeah, Hallie, it is a growing mystery in this rural Virginia community. I mean, you have this undefeated football team. They should be celebrating. And yet in the midst of all of this, you have this search for a coach that is suddenly MIA.
So we've got a couple interesting developments here. Police trying to speak with Turner about this complaint. We don't exactly know what it is. Now he's gone. First, any reading between the lines there? And also this search appears to be focused around his home, drones, canine units. What are you reading into both of those items at play?
Thank you for having me. But first thing we know is we have to look at the time that the Virginia investigators were going to the house was as an arranged time. And when they got there, what was the time between him being there and when he was not there? So, and this has been 6 days now. And unfortunately, we don't know how prepared he was to leave. You do a scrub, you look at his social media, you look at his credit cards, you're going to do the usual routine things you do in a missing persons investigation, especially this type of one. We call it like kind of a special category because now we have a person who that normally does this. It's now been 6 days. They've been doing probably a grid search from that location using drones, personnel, boots on the ground in a sense, trying to locate him because now it's 6 days. I don't know how prepared he was when he left the location, but that's why I think they're focusing more on the area around this because, we can read in between the lines as to what the investigation was about. We don't know. Neither the school nor the police are saying anything. I don't want to speculate.
So then on Monday, November 24th, News Channel 11 crews drove around Wise County. Now, at that time, they didn't see like a big presence of them searching for him, but law enforcement said they still were. Now, on Tuesday, November 25th, which was only 3 days ago, state police announced 10 warrants, 10, sorry, I can't even say it right now. 10 warrants had been issued for Turner's arrest. So on the 25th is when the media told us, hey, this guy actually has warrants. All right. Has warrants. These warrants are five counts of possession of underage pornography. All right. And then 5 counts of using a computer to solicit a person who was underage. So he's got 10 counts altogether of, misconducts against underage people. Are these people from the school? That's what some of us are wondering.
It involves 46-year-old Travis Turner, who was a beloved coach in this small Appalachian community where he has lived for a long time. And right now he is missing in those mountains of Appalachia. He vanished nearly a week ago from the coal mining town of Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Tiny community, close-knit community. All of this started out as a missing persons case, but it's morphed into something far darker than that because now it is a hunt for an alleged fugitive. Now, when Turner went missing, the small town was shocked, to say the least. Turner has been the head football coach at Union High School since the program started in 2011. That team is now competing in the playoffs. They're headed potentially for a state championship. But the undefeated team, they took the field last week without their usual leader on the sideline as concerns grew about where Coach Turner might be and why he might have disappeared.
Now, also stated Turner was considered a fugitive as of November 25th. So it went from missing to now he's a fugitive on the run. He's a fugitive on the run. I was never on the run for anything underage like that. Those people inside when you go to well, I'll not say when you go. Hopefully you never have to go. But if for anybody that's ever been locked up in penitentiary and things like that, usually anybody with those charges, they put them in PC, protective custody. And if some sort of way they do slip through the crack and they're in there with what they call the general population, they don't get treated good at all. They're not allowed to walk the yard, which meaning the people that are out there lifting weights and all that stuff, they can't come out there. They can't play no basketball. They're not playing no cards with nobody. A lot of times they're getting the food taken, and that's how they get treated inside of there. State police provided a video statement on the latest in a search for Turner, and Gofforth and Wise County Commonwealth's attorney Brett Hall each provided statements of their own. So then you have on November 26th, they reached out to police, or I should say Channel 11 News reached out to the police. So far, there has been no, updates. So, like I said, this guy is pretty much on the run now.
Yeah, and another interesting tidbit in all of this, school officials have reportedly placed a staff member within the district on leave. Now, they obviously can't disclose any more information other than that. He has not been publicly identified. We don't know if it's a he or she. What is law enforcement working to piece together at this hour? What is your best estimation?
Well, that's why when you talk to the wife, when he was last at the house, you're doing all the things you can do. And it comes down to this. When he left that location, was a vehicle taken? Was he picked up by a vehicle? That's why you look at it. You try to find if his cell phone was at his home. And if it is not home, you go up on his cell phone, you do and call detail records. You're going to do everything you normally do for an investigation like this. And again, comes back to the same issue. How much time did he prepare to not be at that location when the Virginia investigators came to the house?
So now this guy is on the run from the law. I don't know. I looked into his background for what I could see. It didn't show a lot. Like the guy really didn't have any criminal history, which I'm pretty sure that wasn't going to show any because he is a high school football coach, right? You just saw a couple traffic tickets. That was it. Well, the funny thing is this school is not the only time this school has had a coach or somebody who works there get in trouble for something like this. So let's take a look. All right. Now here is a picture of the football coach right here. That's Travis Turner right there, who's wanted on 5 counts of possession of underage pornography, I would say. 5 counts of using the computer to solicit a underage. And then there's the school he was coaching at, Union High School. Now, in the week of Turner's scandal, it emerged that he is not the first coach at the school to be accused of such crimes. After Timothy Lee Meteor was jailed 2 years ago. So Timothy Lee Meteor was jailed 2 years ago for pretty much almost the same stuff. It says Meteor, then a teacher at the school in Big Stone Gap, Virginia, was arrested and charged on a count of underage solicitation and 2 counts of indecent liberties. I'm not really sure what that is, indecent liberties, so I'm going to look that up with you guys and we can get a, clarification on what indecent liberties is. That charge I've never heard of. I'm thinking it's just a great name for something that has to do with underage, correct? That's what I'm thinking. According to the Commonwealth attorney, he later pleaded guilty to 2 counts of indecent liberties with the underage and served 1 year, 3 months in jail. That was all he got. 1 year, 3 months in jail. That's all he got, people. Meteor, now 30, was immediately banned from the school and remains active on the Virginia State Registry. Incredibly, a third high school employee in the same Wise County school system was also arrested and charged earlier this year alone on 3 counts of carnal knowledge and count of taking indecent liberties with a underage by a person in custodial supervision. Wow. So pretty much this is saying he was in the act of doing something with a person that was underage while pretty much being in a supervisor role, which meaning it probably happened at the school because it says while he was in that role, which meaning he was at the school or one of the schools, and this is where the crime was taking place. So I'm wondering if this happens to, if the coach, if the crimes happen at the school too and at home. So this guy's name was Tyler J. Tibbs. This is the guy that got arrested earlier this year. He was only 28, who worked at Colburn Middle School. So he was at a different school, but in the same school system, which is a short 25-minute drive from Union School, and was arrested in August before being taken to Southwest Virginia jail. It was later reported that he was bonded out of the regional jail on a $25,000 bond. I mean, these bonds are low. And even that one guy, he got, what, a year? This is low. So the school also removed his profile from their website. So they removed his profile from the website. This is actually his wife. I wonder if she knew. I wonder if she knew what her husband was doing. So far, the wife is supporting the husband. I mean, you kind of expect that, right? Because it's your significant other, especially if you don't know what's going on. Look at these two guys. These two guys are the ones that got caught earlier. This guy looked like he's happy to do it and will do it again. So this guy right here with the smile on his face, that's Timothy. That's Meteor. That's the guy who worked at Union School and remains active on the registry that we talked about earlier, where he only got, what, a year and a half of jail time. This guy who looks like he is sad for being caught, Tyler, he's the one that just got caught and is out on $25K bond. So his wife, the wife right here, Leslie says, she's actually a paralegal too. Paralegal life, yeah. Leslie is off 46, says she had no knowledge of her husband's alleged inappropriate contact with minors. I mean, even if the person knew, I don't think they would admit it, right? I mean, because if you admit it, now you're going to jail. So even if they knew, they're not going to admit that. But I mean, sometimes these people honestly won't know. I don't know anything. I'm sorry, she said. When asked about the pornography charges for which police are seeking Turner, Leslie rose to her husband's defense. None of that is true. He's a good dad and a good husband, and we want him home. That's it. She added that it remains a difficult time for the family as police continue to search for Turner, who vanished last week. We are all just hanging in there until we got news. Cops continue to hunt for the missing 46-year-old father of three, who is now considered a fugitive after vanishing from his home and the Appalachia close to Kentucky borderline. I mean, do you think this guy took off and just ran because he knew it was coming? I have read some people think that maybe it was deeper and maybe somebody did something with him. I've read that too, but I don't know about that one. I'm more leaning towards he knew what was coming and ran off. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, you guys let me know. Now, we're also going to take a look at his house, I should say the area behind his house, because there's reports from scanners that people reportedly saw a man going through the woods with a rifle. All right. And some people start looking for this man with a rifle. And that story is still not really clear. And that story is not confirmed. But some people are speculating, is it this guy? And I'm going to show you why it could be this guy. Now, I'm also going to show you what I was on the run myself. I was on the run for 15 years. I was on the run for a long time. I don't know if he's going to last that long, but I'm going to show you what I think what he probably did. And also the things that he's probably thinking on in his head and what he's going through. All right. Especially when you haven't probably done anything, or not say done anything, but when you haven't committed crimes in the past that we probably haven't found out about, right? So it wasn't like he was a career-long criminal. I wasn't a career-long criminal either. So it wasn't like he was a career-long criminal, that we know of. Like I said, that we know of. But we do know this man's never been on the run before. And if it's so, they're not talking about it, and I can't see in the background, and they're not showing it. All right, so look at this. Look where this guy lives at. Look where this guy lives at. All right. And this is all mountains. Look, and see the red dot? That's his house. It is all mountains here. Let's even zoom in closer so we can get a close look. This is how small this place is. This man literally lives right here in this house at the end of a cul-de-sac. Okay. And then look, you see there's a river right behind his house. Powell River. Okay. Now, people are saying that they saw a man in the forest with a rifle, but they're not saying where at in the mountains of the forest with a rifle because look, it is so much. So if this man was here, there's a couple things he could have did, right? He could have went behind his house, probably crossed the river. I'm pretty sure he already knows how deep that river is back there. I'm pretty sure he does. But then when you cross the river, you got railroad tracks, right? These look like railroad tracks right here. Now, I've never ran in the woods myself, but you have to survive, meaning you need food and you need water to survive. Okay. If he didn't take a boatload of stuff to last him a lifetime, the best bet would be to stay by this river because you could have crossed the river, maybe crossed the railroad tracks, and maybe crossed this main street, and then went over here into the city. You know, not even the city. I don't even know what you want to call this little town. Or you could have probably left out your front door and crossed these little two roads of the cul-de-sac and then went into all this dead shrubbery, and then you're over here. Look at that. Look at that. Look. It'll be almost impossible to find somebody there. But let's say he's staying by the river, but still in the forest. Usually these rivers always lead to another town or a city. He could be traveling through here, staying through the river, and then let's see, where's the river go to? Yep, it goes to another town. It goes to Southern Forest Products, which is a store in this town. I don't know what this town is. But yeah, he can also go down. I mean, it'd be very hard to look through all this. It'd be very hard to even survive that, I'm thinking, to be honest with you. Especially with winter coming. I mean, what do you guys think? You let me know.
Based on what we know about Coach Turner and what law enforcement is working with, what stands out to you?
The fact that he left days before law enforcement got there. I think this shows that maybe he was made aware of a potential criminal investigation, maybe from his job, maybe from the school, maybe somebody from the school had called him in to discuss this potential scenario playing out, and maybe he read the writing on the wall and realized that this may be detrimental to his career, to his family life, and he may have taken the opportunity to leave his home and go into the woods.
Well, the one thing I think happened was I think he got tipped off. He got tipped off. Somebody, think about it. This is a small town. Everybody knows everybody. This guy was a high school football coach of a team that could be competing for a state championship. He's been coaching, I believe, since 2011. And not only before him, his dad was coaching as well. So the town knows this man. They know his name. They know his reputation. So obviously, this guy has connections with probably law enforcement, the court system, whatever else. So I am pretty sure, and I'm willing to bet everything that somebody tipped this man off and let him know, hey, you got some charges coming. All right. They're coming to question you because at that time, right, they didn't say that he had the charges on him. They were just coming to question him. But if anybody's ever been questioned, there's a reason why they come to question you. A lot of times they have suspicion that you've done something, and now they're doing the investigation work, which means now they're going to come talk to you. So they come into your house or wherever you're at, and then they talk to you, and they pretty much try and get you to admit to something that you did in a kind of a roundabout way, not like saying I did it, but admit to you being connected to the crime in some sort of way. Like, were you here at this time? Were you there at this time? Who did you speak to? You know, those type of questions or whatever. And if any of those questions you answer can place you at that time or that date or wherever that crime happened at, now they can take you in custody and bring you in for further questioning. So it's probably most likely what they were doing. Somebody tipped this man off and he said, no, I ain't staying here for that, and I'm out. Now, the question is, where did he go? Where did he go? There's not a lot of roads and towns in here. Yeah, he did probably go in the back of his house in that forest. Most likely, he probably did. And he probably did take a rifle with him. And he's probably out there just trying to survive. Now, here's the thing. Winter's coming. They're in Virginia in the mountains. Winter is coming. When I did this, I went to New York City. I went to New York City when I did this. I was in the city, so I didn't have to worry about being in the mountains. But he's in the mountains where there's bears and animals, and winter is coming. So how is he going to survive once winter gets there? If he tries to build a fire and they have drones and planes in the sky looking for him, they're going to see the smoke. They're going to see it. So what is he going to do? And how long is he going to be out there surviving in the forest, in the wilderness? All right. My other question is, how long, or I should say, the police were supposed to go to his house, right, and investigate him. How long did he get tipped off before that? Was it like that day of, 2 days before, a week before? That's the part that they're really not saying. Because, for example, if he got tipped off, let's say 3 days before that, he could be in a lot of places. He could be. Now, it all depends on the investigation, what they do. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll put your name on a list. So, for example, let's say police like, oh, yes, we're going to have this guy on a watch list, but not arrest him, but just on a watch list. Meaning that if you try and fly somewhere, they're going to know. It's going to come up. Okay. It's going to come up. If you have to do any transportation where you have to put your ID down and they have to do some sort of search or something like that, it's going to come up. All that stuff comes up. So the most likely way, if you don't know that, would be to travel by foot or in your own vehicle or a stolen vehicle. And that's pretty much, what you would have to do a lot of these times. And in his case, I'm thinking he went in the back forest in those mountains and he's back there hiding out. Now, how long is he going to survive? Are they going to even find him alive? Is he going to off himself?
This happened so it's been 5 days. At the time we're recording this, it was Thursday night, November 20th, that he disappeared or was last seen. What does it take for someone, if he's still, and hate to be morbid here, but it's the reality of it, if he's still alive and he's in the woods, what does it take to survive this long?
Well, people who live in those type of areas understand they can't hunt up there. A lot of hunters will go out there and just hunt right there in the woods and camp out in the woods. So it really depends on his background. And as an investigator doing through We Are the Essentials search and recovery investigators, we try to meet with the family and talk about these things. How experienced is he in the woods? How experienced is he a hunter? Is he not a hunter? Can he go up there and survive? So there are a lot of things. And then the other question is, there any camera footage? I know we've seen him go into these wooded or the hill area near his home, but was there any video showing him carrying? Evidently, there's some rumors that he might have been carrying a weapon, but was he carrying a backpack? Was he carrying any supplies with him up there? Is there a base camp up there? Is there places where they go hunting that he may be going to and could potentially survive for several days and wait it out to sort of see what happens? I would assume he more likely does not have a phone, or they would be able to ping that. So he may not be off the grid. He may not understand the magnitude of this search that's going on right now for him. He may have no idea. He's just up there. And like you said, this could be not a very nice situation. He could cause self-harm to himself. And that might have already taken place. And we pray not. We pray that he's still in a window of reflection where he's thinking about what's going on and contemplating his life. And maybe law enforcement will be able to locate him before things take a turn for the worst.
If the charges are really that bad, that makes him look like he's guilty. It does. So I'm wondering what evidence they have on him. Who is the evidence against? Is it somebody at his school? They are saying that there's another person who's been placed on administrative leave from the school too, but they're not saying who it is. They're not saying if it's actually another teacher, another coach, and they're also not saying if it's who we're talking about right now, Travis Turner. But it makes you wonder, right? So be on the lookout for this guy. This guy's over here doing stuff to people he shouldn't be doing anything to. Once again, this is Fugitive TV. Let me know if you heard of this case. Please like, subscribe, turn your notification bells, comment below the video where you're watching this from, because the more comments on the video, the more this station, or I should say channel, will go out there and grow, because I've been growing at a very, very great number within the last like 6 months. It's been crazy. Fugitive TV, and I'm out.